तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम गुरुदेव भगवान शिव शंकर भोलेनाथ कैलाशपति महाराज की जय, भगवान व्यास जी महाराज की जय, शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय, स्वामी चिन्मयानंद भगवान की जय, स्वामी दयानंद भगवान की जय, स्वामी प्रबोधानंद भगवान की जय, स्वामी शुद्धानंद भगवान की जय, साध्वी आनंद ज्योति जी की जय, माता पिता की जय, सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय, सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय, सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6 and verse number 28 we have to look into. युजनेवं सदात्मनं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अतयन्तं सुखम् अशुनयेत्। Evam, in this manner, sada, always, Atmanam, the mind, Yunjanam means uniting, Vigata Kalmashaha, free from the conflict born of adharma, Yogi, the meditator, Sukhena, easily, Brahma Samsparsham, born of contact with recognition, contact with Brahman. Atayantam, Atayantam means absolute. Sukham, happiness. Ashunate, Ashunate means gain. The meditator who is free from all the conflicts born of adharma, always uniting in the mind, uniting the mind with the object of contemplation. In this manner easily gains absolute happiness, born of recognition of Brahman, contact with Brahman. The happiness is born of recognition of Brahman. In the previous verse, the karta, the subject was Uttam Sukha, and the object was karma, was the yogi, the meditator, who receives the sukha, whereas in this verse, the karta is the yogi, and the object gained is Atyanta Sukha. Atyant being a synonym of Uttam to complete the meter. Why does Krishna says that this Sukha reaches the yogi in one verse and that yogi gains it in another verse? Does this mean there is some confusion about who the Karta and who is the Karma? No. In fact, he expresses the result of contemplation in both senses in order to resolve whatever confusion there may be. By saying Uttam Sukha reaches the yogi becomes an object. Now, does it mean that Ananda comes over and overwhelms the person? If so, there is a problem. It means the meditator is drowned in Atma, Ananda. In other words, the Ananda got the person. When you look at it in this way, you seem to be an object, which is not so. You are only subject in the world. Therefore, you cannot be the object. To make this clear, Krishna puts it in other way, saying that yogi gains Ananda, Uttam Sukha, which means that the difference between Karta and Karma is not there. There is really no difference between Karta and Karma, just as there is no difference between a river and the ocean at the point where the river reaches the ocean. You just can never tell whether the ocean receives the river or the river reaches the ocean. In the confluence of river and ocean, you will find that river is salty for miles. Therefore, it looks as though the ocean is entering the river. Who is the Karta then? Who is the Karma? You don't know. Sometimes you say the river reaches the ocean. At the other times you say the ocean reaches the river. Similarly here, the Karta, the one who gains Ananda, does not see an Ananda other than himself or herself. Therefore, the subject and the object are one and the same. Karta eva karma. This is unlike any other thing. It is the knowledge of oneself. Thus, these two verses are to be read together. They have to be understood together. In the present verse, Atmanam Yunjana means connecting or the uniting mind. The word evam in this manner indicates what the mind is to be connected to, meaning that it is united with the knowledge that Atma alone is indeed everything. Aham iva idam sarvam. And uniting the mind with the object of contemplation, the mediator gains Atyanta Sukha, Uttam Sukha. The person is called a yogi, here to indicate that his or her contemplation is successful. The yogi, the meditator, is one who is free from all obstacles. Again, this person is further described as one who is free from adharma, from punya and papa, vigata kalmasha, because how one lives one's life is very important to success of one's meditation. A successful meditator is one whose daily life is free from adharma. Living according to ethical values renders the person free from obstacles in the form of conflicts. The Vigata Kalmasha is one whose life is free from conflict born of adharma. And that Vigata Kalmasha, the yogi, gains Atyanta Sukha. Atyanta Sukha is not experimental. As has already been said, Atyanta Sukha is Sukha that is not comparable to a degrees of Sukha that you gather. This is where the people make mistake and talk about eternal bliss and so on. This Sukha is not eternal bliss. It is your nature, Swarupa. To refer to Swarupa Sukha as a bliss means that it is experimental. Then comes the question, what is external bliss and how can I get it? if it is something that you can gain and then that only lasts for a period of time, how you can call it external bliss. If it is something experimental, there is no jnana, knowledge there. Then what is the atyanta sukha? The verse itself defines it as Brahma samsparsha atyanta sukha, a sukha born of recognizing Brahman. Whenever you touch something pleasant, the sukha you get is called sparsha sukha. Does it mean that by contacting, by hugging Brahman you will gain atyanta sukha? No. Brahman is not an object available for hugging. Brahman is a word used by Shastra for revealing oneself as the whole. Brahman is no one else other than you. Other than you as whole. Not you as body, mind, senses. No. Because of the knowledge that there is sukha. Brahma samsparsha sukha. Born out of contact of Brahman. Meaning the recognition of the self as Brahman. Means recognizing oneself as Brahman. The whole. The whole is the completeness. Whole means being everything. Nothing is other than Brahman. This sukha belongs to Brahman. It is very nature of Brahman. In fact, therefore it is called Swarupa Sukha. Swarup Sukha is not a Sukha that is experimental. It is the Sukha that is recognized as the nature, Swarupa of every form of Sukha. In any form of Sukha that you get, the Sukha is because of Swarupa Sukha. The wholeness that is the nature of Brahman, born out of the knowledge that is self is Brahman. The meditator is said to gain this Swarupa Sukha. In his commentary to the verse, Shankaracharya ji says, Atyanta Sukha is that which does not come to an end. If this Sukha were bliss, it would come to an end, because any experience has a limit. If it was an experience, then it would have a limit. Therefore, bliss is finite. Finite Sukha, not Atyanta Sukha, that transcends all limits, the limits of time or degrees. Such limits do not exist for Sukha that is one's very nature, because Swarup Sukha can never be experimental Sukha. For Sukha to be an experimental, there must be a particular condition of the mind, and that condition will always change because it is within time. Since it is within time, experimental Sukha is non-eternal. But in every Sukha there is a Swarupa, a truth, and the truth is the nature of Atma, which is free from any form of limitation. The limitlessness, wholeness, Purnatva, implied by the non-separation of the knower from all that is known. The firm understanding that Sarvam Aham Asmi is the Swarupa Sukha. Referred to in these two verses as Uttam Sukha and Atyanta Sukha, and being the very Swarupa of Atma, it cannot come to an end. As long as Atma is there, Sukha is there, and Atma being beyond time is eternal. So it is an eternal Sukha, Atyanta Sukha. No effort is required to gain a Swarupa Sukha. How is this Sukha gained? we always ask this question because generally the more you do in the world, the more you gain. More you work on something, greater is the result. This being a rule very well known to you, how much should you do to gain infinite sukha, infinite karma? No. The logic that you have for finite situation is in this finite world does not work here. In fact, if karma were infinite, you could not even blink, because blinking like any action is finite. Therefore, if you had to do infinite karma, you would do no karma at all. In fact, no karma is involved in gaining atyanta sukha. As Krishna indicates here by the word sukhena, meaning easily. Atyanta sukha is easily. You don't have to gain it, it is already there. Your swarupa is atyanta sukha. Swarupa sukha. Your nature is that sukha. You just have to understand. Understand it through knowledge only. Without tears, without sweat, because this sukha is you. The self is Brahman, and atyanta sukha is born out of the recognition of this fact. Naturally, it is gained easily. Sukhed, so easy it is. Study Shastra and you are sukha. Parama sukha, atyanta sukha, uttam sukha. That is your swarupa. Your swarupa sukha. Generally, in order to gain sukha, you have to do something that almost always involves some dukkha also. For example, if you see a man packing and you ask him where he is going, he may say, I am going to Hawaii. I am going to Hawaii. When you ask him why, he will say, to get some sukha. On the way to airport, he runs into a traffic jam and becomes upset, dukkha. On arriving at the airport, there is more problem, more dukkha. At the Hawaii airport, he finds that his baggage did not come, more dukkha. At the Hawaii airport, even at the hotel, there is dukkha for him, because the travel agency did not book a room for him as arranged. All the way there is dukkha. And for what? Just to gain a little sukha, to get some sun, and every day he is there. It rains. On the day the sky clears, he has to catch a plane. His holidays are over, sir. This is called alpa sukha. So much effort, so much invested, and so much dukkha, just for little sukha. इतना सा सुख कि हरिद्वार जा रहे हैं, मजा आएगा, आनंद होएगा, सुख मिलेगा। गाड़ी में बैठने थे 5 जने, बैठ गए 6 जने, हो गया दुख। रास्ते में टायर पंचर हो गया दुख। होटलों की बुकिंग नहीं कराई, हो गया दुख। घूमो, सड़कों पर सो, हरिद्वार में होटल बुक नहीं किया, ऋषिकेश में होटल बुक नहीं किया, देहरादून में होटल नहीं बुक किया, मसूरी में होटल नहीं बुक किए, घूम रहे हैं, फिर महंगा महंगा होटल खरीद रहे हैं, रुपया खराब कर रहे हैं। किस लिए? सुख पाने के लिए। कितना सा सुख? लिमिटेड सुख, अल्प सुख। अल्प सुख की प्राप्ति के लिए दौड़ लगाई, और मिला क्या? बहुत सारा दुख और थोड़ा सा सुख। दिस इज कॉल्ड अल्प सुख। So much effort, so much invested, and so much of dukkha just for little sukha. Whereas here, how much effort is required? How much dukkha is there? For atyant sukha, all the way it is pleasant. Pleasantly sukhena the person discovers. The very inquiry is pleasant because the Shastra says you are the whole. Because ज्ञान कहता है कि आप खुद सुख हो, सुख बाहर नहीं है, आनंद कहीं बाहर ढूंढना नहीं है, स्वयं सुख रूप हो, स्वयं सुख स्वरूप हो। You are the whole. It does not say that you are an idiot or a sinner and so on. शास्त्र कभी भी आपको ये नहीं कहते कि आप कोई पापी हो या आप दिमाग से कमजोर हो। नहीं, शास्त्र तो सीधा सीधा सबको कहता है, ज्ञानी भी हो, अज्ञानी भी हो, कोई पापी भी हो, तो भी वो सुख स्वरूप, उसका स्वरूप सुख है। वो स्वयं सुख स्वरूप है, सुख से अलग नहीं है। It says that you are everything and that not seeing is idiocy. Therefore listening to the Shastra is very pleasant indeed. शास्त्र पढ़ना शुरू करते ही आनंद का अनुभव होना शुरू होता है। और ये तो बहुत आसान है, कोई दुख नहीं है, कहीं दुख हो ही नहीं सकता, पूर्ण सुख है। No one else tells you that you are everything, that you are whole. Only the Shastra accepts you totally. The prophets and the great gurus do not accept you. Your father and mother, having their own ends to accomplish through you, do not accept you. Parents always want their children to be something other than what they are. Thus no one accepts you totally except the Shastra. Only सिर्फ ये शास्त्र आपको अपनाता है, बाकी सब के सब आपसे कुछ न कुछ चाहते हैं, अपनाते नहीं, सिर्फ चाहते हैं। माँ बाप भी चाहते हैं, बच्चे भी चाहते हैं, ये सोसाइटी भी आपसे कुछ चाहती है, और शास्त्र आपको अपनाता है। वो कहता है कि आप स्वयं पूर्ण हो, मैं और आप अलग नहीं हैं, आप ही ब्रह्म हो, आप ही ईश्वर हो। ये समझो, ये जान लो बस। The vision of Shastra. No theology accepts you either. Every theology condemns you and tells you that it will save you. बाकी सब आपको बचाने की, हम आपको बचा लेंगे, आप पापी हो, आपको हम बचा लेंगे। Everyone wants to save you. It seems everyone wants to be savior to others. All religion and theologies are meant only for this purpose, because in their eyes you are condemned, whereas the Shastra says tat tat tvamasi, you are that. It does not say tat tat tvam bhavishyasi, you will become that. शास्त्र कभी नहीं कहते कि आप पूर्ण हो जाओगे। शास्त्र कहते हैं आप पूर्ण हो, ये जानो, ये जानना ही सिर्फ है। नहीं समझेंगे सब। शास्त्र सेज तत्त्वमसि, you are that. It does not say tatatvam bhavishyasi, that you will become. When the Shastra says tatatvam asi, it is total, absolute absolutely total. It is not even a matter of acceptance. It just points out that you are the whole. Because in its vision, the Shastra could not condemn you even if it wanted to. शास्त्र कहते हैं आप ही ईश्वर हैं, आपसे अलग कुछ नहीं है, संपूर्ण स्वरूप आप ही हैं। जब आप ही हैं तो फिर आपको धुतकारेंगे कैसे शास्त्र? बाकी सब रिलीजन आपको धुतकार सकते हैं, कोई तरह का शास्त्र, कोई तरह का ज्ञान भी आपको धुतकार सकता है, पर जो आपको स्वयं ही पूर्ण मानता हो वो कैसे करेगा? उसकी नजर में आप कहीं से भी कंडेमनेबल नहीं है। यू आर ओनली सत्या, यू आर द ओनली सत्य, एंड दैट इज इन द क्रिएशन, देयर इज नथिंग एल्स। Everything else, being anatma, depends upon the atma alone. You are the only one who is self-existent, स्वतः सिद्ध। और आपका स्वरूप स्वतः सिद्ध है, किसी और को ये सिद्ध करने की जरूरत नहीं है। शास्त्र इसका प्रमाण है और आप स्वयं इसके प्रमाण हैं। आप हैं, आपका होना ही पूर्णत्व है। ये सिर्फ आपकी एक त्रुटि वाली दृष्टि जिससे आप देख रहे हैं ना, ये दृष्टि, ये त्रुटि दूर होते ही आप स्वरूप हैं, अनंत है। And everything else depend upon the self-evident being that you are. Therefore, you are always totally accepted by the Shastra at the beginning and at the end also. In the beginning, Shastra says, moksha, liberation is yourself. Moksha being in the form of knowledge of Atma alone. The very starting point is that you are already free. शास्त्र शुरू ही यहीं से होते हैं। They first say, you are already free. आपको और आप तो ऑलरेडी मोक्ष प्राप्त है, मोक्षत्व तो है, पहचानना है। Even though you don't know it, therefore the subject matter of the Shastra is something that is already established. सिद्ध विषय। शास्त्र को कुछ भी प्रूव नहीं करना, आप हैं, ये स्वतः सिद्ध है। और शास्त्र का सिद्ध विषय भी आप ही हैं। जब आप ही विषय हैं, एंड द गेनिंग दिस नॉलेज इज गेनिंग ऑफ समथिंग दैट इज ऑलरेडी गेन्ड। प्राप्तस्य प्राप्ति, नॉट द गेन ऑफ समथिंग नॉट येट गेन्ड। आपको वही बताना है जो आप हो ऑलरेडी, कुछ नया बताना ही नहीं है। न तो अप्राप्तस्य प्राप्ति, जो प्राप्त नहीं है उसे क्या प्राप्त कराएंगे? जो ऑलरेडी प्राप्त है, जो आप ऑलरेडी है, वही बताना है। To begin this way is the very pleasant. Indeed, journey itself is also pleasant. Other kind of sukha requires effort and may not be pleasant. Even going to heaven requires lot of effort according to Shastra. You have to spend a lot of time performing the rituals properly, for which a lot of tears have to be shed, literally, since you have to sit before the fire to perform the rituals. Suppose after having shed all the tears, you go to heaven and you gain heaven sukha, how long will you enjoy this sukha? Heaven Sukha is also comparative Sukha. Heaven being just another place is which you cannot stay forever. There comes a time when you have to leave. Therefore, Sukha that you gain in heaven is Antayik, Anitya Sukha, non-eternal. It is not eternal Sukha. That requires lot of effort. स्वर्ग में भी सुख नहीं है, उसके लिए हजारों रिचुअल्स करो, हजारों हवन करे, पुण्य करे, सब करा, और फिर हेवन मिल भी गया तो कितने समय के लिए, उसकी भी अवधि है। और अपने आप को जानने के लिए, हियर देयर इज नो एफर्ट, अपने आप को जानने के लिए कोई एफर्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। इट इज ऑल सुखा because you yourself are Sukha. It may seem a little silly or overly simplistic, but that is how it is. When you do a right about turn, your entire logic also reverses. Generally, all your desires are for Anatma, not for Atma. Even heaven, Swarga is Anatma, not for you. Whenever you say, I am going to reach somewhere or gain something, the object to be gained or reached is Anatma. Like heaven, money, or anything that you want, all the Anatmas are for Atma alone. To gain Sukha is for Atma, for your happiness, welfare, an experience of something that you want to go here or there, all which are Anatma for the sake of Atma. Thus there is always this connection between Atma and Anatma, and as long as the connection is desirable, one, there is some kind of Sukha, but it is always Anitya Sukha, non-eternal. It is this Anatma Ichcha, desires for Anatma, that you give up, and in its place you choose Atma Ichcha. Anatma Ichcha and Atma Ichcha are opposites and are therefore two different things. Atma Ichcha is the right about turn, wherein you have a desire for this very Atma itself. Being a right about turn, the logic that was applicable to Anatma Ichcha is not applicable to all the Atma Ichcha. Atma being accomplished already, Atma is, you are not going to create a new Atma. Atma is eternally present, nor you are going to polish the Atma. It is not that Atma is covered and need to be cleaned up so that its original color will shine through. Atma is never colored. It is always self-shining. Nitya Prasiddha. Because it is eternally present, it is never covered by anything. The only covering possible is the word is to be used at all is ignorance. And ignorance is not something that is scrapped off. Ignorance just goes in the wake of knowledge. You don't have to remove something. Ignorance is not to be removed. Ignorance is to be recognized through knowledge. Ignorance goes. As soon as knowledge is there, ignorance goes. Which is why Krishna says that without effort the meditator gains the Sukha that is his or her nature. Sukha that is born out of connect with Anatma is Anitya, non-eternal. Whereas Sukha born out of the knowledge of Brahman is Nitya, eternal. Atma contacting Brahman means yourself contacting Brahman in terms of recognizing Brahman. Thus, Sansparsha is used here only to point out that this is not like any other sparsha. meaning contact. The context here being that recognition that Atma is Brahman take place, because of which one gains Nitya Sukha without any effort. In this verse, it is said that the Jiva recognizes and gains the Sukha. And in the previous verse, it was said that the Sukha reaches the Jiva. Krishna explained it is this way because the Jiva is Sukha Swarupa. There is no Karta karma, Krita karma. Difference because there is no Karta and no Karma. There is only Atma. Nor is there any reaching. There is only the dropping of ignorance and the error. Only सिर्फ त्रुटि हटनी है, त्रुटि को दूर करना है. Which is why it can be explained either as Sukha reaching the person or the person reaching Sukha. Ananda approaching the yogi, or yogi gaining Ananda is one and the same. There is only one track. सिर्फ एक ही रास्ता है, ज्ञान. In all of this, you must be very clear that yoga is not something independent of knowledge. There is no yoga track by which you can gain moksha, sukha. Nor there is karma track. There is no karma track or bhakti track or any other track. Each track leading to the goal. There is only one track, the track of jnana. Here in this chapter, yoga is dhyana. The track of jnana consists of knowledge alone. To pursue knowledge, you can follow all kind of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, karma yoga, and so on, bhakti yoga, in terms of knowledge. You follow any yoga, but Jnana yoga is the only track which has to be followed. They can be through these, but you have to follow the Jnana track. These disciplines will definitely be useful because you have to become a Vigata Kalmasha. Therefore, you have to live a life of Dharma, which implies certain attitude called Karma Yoga. This attitude includes bhakti, prayers, etc., all of which are useful for gaining jnana. In this pursuit, you use whatever is required, but the track is one and the same. There is no other track. This is the stamp. There is no other track, no other way of moksha. Only jnana is the track. Since this is how it is, what else can you do? Atma is Brahman, and the problem is one of ignorance. Thus, only track open to us is knowledge. The knowledge of oneness of Brahman is the end result of the practice of contemplation. Therefore, let there be no confusion about there being any other track. The yoga discussed in Gita has its result in jnana alone. It begins with jnana and ends with the jnana. Before contemplation, nididhyasan, there is sarva shravana, listening to the vision of the Shastra that says Atma and Brahma are one. Therefore, nididhyasan is to make this vision clear of any obstacle. Seeing the sameness that is in everything. This Bhagavan will discuss in verse number 29, which we will see tomorrow on Monday. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om This is what is actual sukha. All other sukhas will give you dukkha only. Sukha will be for few minutes. Minutes means only in a time frame. There will be a beginning and there will be end. But when the Swarupa is Sukha, there is no beginning and there is no end to the Swarupa Sukha. The Swarup itself is Sukha. Om Tat Sat.